ended Andrew Hedrick's undefeated streak at LA and Indy.
Precisely why he might be the player to stop James Dragapult annihilation in this event. James currently playing this Lily's Clefairy EX deck. And let's take a look at these prize cards. Alex, anything of note?
I mean, there's a nice pretty card there. That Prime Catcher on James's side is currently prized. We have a couple of other unique pieces from Justin's side as well. I mean, it's not too bad. Both Meowths are going to be hiding away in those prizes at the same time. But James does play 4 copies of those, of course, just to kind of keep up that consistency. So we'll keep an eye out on that Prime Catcher. And then all the other pieces. One of those 2 Crispins are prized for Justin. But yeah, fist bump there, Amy. We're kicking things off with Swiss round 13.
Let's do it. We'll go straight into the action. Let's see the table as it stands. James starting Pheasantipity. Not a great start for him, but Justin is taking the first turn, and it's a buddy poffin. A very wonderfully typical start, and definitely a card that he wants to see in his opening hand.
Yeah, an opportunity for Justin to be able to work out those prizes, work out those resources that he will have access to across this game 1. Just deciding on the Badoo and the Dreepy for the moment, just kind of eyeing up the others, just knowing that they're there, that they're safe, that he can pull them out when he needs to, and that's going to be key for this matchup because he is staring down. He'll know he's up against Clefairy after all.
Yes, a very tricky matchup indeed, but if Justin can try to keep up with the flow of attacks, thankfully Dragapult can keep up. What we're really going to have to be looking out for are those Lily's Pearls. If James manages to trickily weave those in and make some of his Lily's Clefairy into essentially single prize Pokemon.
Instantly played down Sereno by James. Was it Sereno? Yeah. Well, sorry, I'm going a bit crazy. Sorry, lost a bit of my words there. Sereno was played. Free Pokemon EX is now coming down into the hand from the deck. Again, another opportunity for James to actually see and work out what is prized as well. Getting that Latias EX, the Lily's Clefairy EX, of course, and a Mega Kangaskhan, the draw power, the pivot maneuverability with Skyliner, and then the threat of the Fairy Zone is the choice made there by James.
And what I really love about this specific play is that Latias EX is not just that pivotal Pokemon to use Skyliner so that James' basic Pokemon have no retreat cost, but Latias EX Eon Blade is also affected by Lily's Clefairy Fairy Zone, meaning Latias EX will be dealing double damage to a Dragapult and is much less susceptible to a knockout return from Dragapult with a fancy 210 HP.
Yeah, it'll be real interesting to see whether James goes down that direction. Does get into a Lily's Pearl from that run errand there. It's instantly attached to the Lily's Clefairy EX, and we're just prepping it for future attacks, knowing Justin is of the slower nature. Crushing Hammers, can we make an impact?
Oh, it's a heads! That will make an impact. Slowing James down. Justin's got that Crushing Hammer power.
And then it's just an Ultra Ball from here from Justin to be able to start maneuvering into those Dracloaks. Get Recon Directive live so we can start seeing some additional cards, cherry picking what we need access to. I think Justin's now just working out that one Crispin actually is prized as well, because we just saw a little flicker up there. It's just kind of double checking what he will have access to.
Supporters are some of the most powerful effects that we have in the game, is why you're only allowed to play 1 per turn. So Justin really needs to forecast which supporters he's going to be playing on which turns to most effectively use his resources. And today, right now, that's going to be Lily's Determination for a fresh 8 cards off the top of the deck for Justin.
Yep, it's ever so important. We're going to need to find some more of those Pokepads and Dracloaks here. We know 1 is prized. There's still access to 2 currently in the deck. Let's see if Justin is able to draw into them here, because we're going to need to try and get to the stage where we can eventually get to 1, 2, sometimes even 3 Dragapult to be able to actually overcome James's Lily's Clefairy EXs at stages.
Justin's hand's looking pretty good if you ask me. We've got energy. I can see crushing hammers. Buddy Poffin goes slam straight down on the board. Justin now looking for an extra basic Pokemon and really just solidifying that bench. Justin is going for that one of Dunsparce, again, just to give an extra push of explosive draw power without having to put a Pheasantipity in play, without having to rely on his opponent taking a knockout to get an extra 3 cards.
Yeah, starting to see some level of the 1-1 lines being teched into many Dragapult lists. Just that additional draw power is so pivotal at times, as we do get the first recon directive of this Swiss round 13. Just a nice stretcher going into hand, keeping, I believe that was another energy going to the bottom of the deck. We already have them. Second Dracloak hits the board as well.
Another recon directive for Justin, looking at those top 2 cards of the deck, putting one in his hand and the other will go to the bottom of his deck, allowing to siphon through that deck and get the perfect hand to be able to continue this game in the best light possible when going up against a not very advantageous deck. A Psychic Energy is attached, and of course it's back onto James to now pick up the pace and go head on against these dragons.
Run errand to be able to draw cards on Justin's turn. It was the opportunity to attach to the active and retreat into Badoo to try and Itchy Pollen, but again, we're talking about having to try and figure out multiple Dragapults as an attacker at some stage. Those energy attachments are ever so key, especially when you only have access to one Crispin right now in the deck.
Okay, looks like James is having a peek at that Wellspring Ogerpon EX. Another Pokemon that has such fantastic maneuverability when you're looking down at small single prize Pokemon that have less than 100 HP to boot. So a lovely addition to James's deck that gives it a lot of flexibility into other matchups. James now benching an extra Lily's Clefairy EX using Wondrous Patch. Okay, that's one energy on Lily's Clefairy, and of course, he has the other in hand, maneuvering Lily's Clefairy into the active and taking down Dreepy #1.
Hold your horses for a moment. He had a couple of actions, but yes, it is a massive KO. It's just setting the pace at the moment. And now it's over to Justin. We have the free retreat Badoo to move around as well. But this is where it comes really, really tricky for Justin. He's holding on to a couple of crushing hammers. Can we see Justin hit heads on those where it matters? We're going to run away draw first for some more cards.
Ooh, that was a rather good runaway draw for Justin. Getting Crispin, we got a lot more utility with another Dracloak. Going to be able to draw some more cards now for Justin.
Yep, key moment here. Staring down at a Lily's Clefairy EX with that Lily's Pearl currently attached. Let's just see the direction that Justin takes this game plan here. He has access to that Crespin, as you've already mentioned, Amy. So if we're just taking the knockout, we don't necessarily need to use Crushing Hammer. So Justin doesn't have to try and slow James's game plan down with that Crushing Hammer item that he's got. So we'll just play the Crispin first.
Love it. Yeah, not only being able to look through his deck, he needs more energy on the board. Justin needs to really start to pick up the pace. Badoo isn't really going to help slow James down enough right now when it's just going to get knocked out in return. So Justin is really against the clock now. James has set the pace for this game, taken the first knockout nice and early. Now Justin really needs to respond, taking those energy, of course, putting the darkness energy in his hand and attaching that fire energy to the first Dracloak, but we still are going to see recon directive from Justin to continue to make his hand a little more advantageous into James's current tactic.
Yeah, this Dragapult list currently doesn't play anything like the rare candies, so we can't just accelerate, or Justin's unable to accelerate the evolution up into a stage 2 anytime soon. So we're going to have to see if Justin goes down the route of a Dragapult right now instead, or do we try and work out whether Justin will try to stabilize the board first. More Dracloak hits the field.
Another
for
recon
Justin.
directive, but
It's a big old hand now.
Not great, really. Still looking a little bit fishy for Justin.
So
No real
important.
way
But
to
if there's
get ahead.
anyone to find a way out here, I mean, just staring at the Lily's Clefairy EX, it's just not a scenario you always want to be in. But when you're a Dragapult player, you know players are going to target your deck.
It's very intimidating to see this deck, especially when James has had such success in this event so far. Justin's going to need to play very cleverly to overcome such an awkward matchup, really.
Yeah, James.
Here he plays Ultra Ball, eyeing up Pheasantipity for just that extra draw power.
Well, do we continue just keeping the single prize board state? Or does Justin prioritize drawing more cards here? Flip the script, of course, is now live for Justin. Can we turn the tables here?
He's got that 3 extra cards, but sadly, to no avail right now. Justin can't really play many of them. So it does allow him to have more Ultra Ball fodder. It looks like he's choosing to do so. Going for another Ultra Ball, just thinning the deck down. He probably will just look to restabilize this board state. Always going for the Dragapult. Maybe this is the turn, Alex.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a scary thing, right? Because we only see one Dragapult EX on the board right now, the only Dragapult EX that has an energy. So by committing this Psychic Energy attachment, we're going to take the knockout on the Lily's Clefairy EX.
But Justin will only receive 1 prize card due to Lily's Pearl, and then he has to make the decision of where those extra damage counters are going to float, and it looks like he's chosen Kangaskhan, Wellspring Ogerpon, and Pheasantipity.
Yeah, and James now has access to his own flip the script here, already working with a decently sized hand, but can James find a way to just cherry pick the right cards? I mean, he's holding on to Cypher Maniac, code breaking, so alongside the run errands will allow James to be able to piece together an attacker once again.
Looks like he might be going again for a Lily's Clefairy attack. He is certainly having a look at that Wondrous Patch and Area 0 under depths, which will increase his attack power quite considerably by not only extending his bench and allowing Lily's Clefairy's Full Moon Rondo to have extra oomph, but also being able to then attach extra energy. That acceleration is essential for James to stay in this game right now.
Yeah, and when you have so much draw power on the board, just from run errand and flip the script, this is the opportunity really just to kind of get those right pieces here, get a strong knockout, and then have to weave in more Lily's Clefairy EX here.
Yeah, after a strange Lily's Clefairy, Lily's Pearl knockout there, it really does put the pressure on Justin, as he only got to take that 1 prize card. Why are these damage counters so impactful when we're looking at a board that has them spread so thin, Alex?
Well, it's one of those scenarios that Justin finds himself in, having to maneuver around Lily's Pearl right now. Obviously, having to take down some of those big threats in the Clefairy is important, but we've got to start thinking about those prize cards that Justin has to also take down, or take to win this game as well. Where can we get those 5 prize cards from in as few attacks as possible? Well, that Mega Kangaskhan does give up 3 prizes, and then, of course, setting up those other single, not single prize EXs, the other 2 prize EXs like the Wellspring and the Pheasantipity. That's important, but we do see a massive return knockout here by James on that Dragapult EX, and this is the scary bit I keep mentioning, that we have to try and set up multiple to be able to just return onto this Lily's Clefairy EX here, and the game plan from James, especially when James has gone so wide as well.
Honestly, I can see in the future ahead, and I'm pretty certain Justin's going to now be going for some mad prize cards at this point, because Justin now has the ability to KO the Clefairy and putting extra damage counters across the rest of James's board to even further be really oppressive into this prize race. Justin needs to take 5 more, but there's lots of ways to do so.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cards in there that would help Justin's scenario. I mean, we might not have access to Crispin because we've already used one already, but we do have access to Rose's Encouragement as the other energy acceleration. And just whether we will see Justin play down that card as well to be able to get a second attacker up and running, alongside maybe some more disruptive cards like that Unfair Stamp Ace spec that Justin runs as well, that I do believe I saw in his hand at the same time. I think he's actually eyeing up the Roses there as well. There it is, Amy.
Rose's Encouragement, a card that we haven't had the pleasure of announcing yet, Alex, but we now get to, as Justin plays her to accelerate that energy. Now that he is behind, James has taken those 3 prize cards. And of course, special red card just to add to that injury. And we are using all of those fantastic cards that allow Justin to disrupt James.
Yeah, so the 6 damage counter placement now going on to Mega Kangaskhan EX brings it down to 200 HP remaining, and that means Justin is, in reality, if we can get one more Phantom Dive off on that Mega Kangaskhan, that would be the final 3 prize cards that Justin would need to be able to take this game 1. What can James do on this scenario? Well, there's a few different things. We can try and remove that Mega Kangaskhan out of play. We currently have the Area 0 Underdepths in action right now, and we do play that one Chien-Pao. That could completely turn this game around, but let's see the route that James takes here.
Yeah, James is now in a sticky situation thanks to those damage counters. If you're Justin, feeling pretty smug, I imagine. Chien-Pao, of course, has the ability Snow Sink. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you discard a stadium in play, which can have some really nasty impact.
Yeah, it's one of those key features of this type of archetype right now. That Chien-Pao is somewhere in the deck or in hand. Haven't quite seen it as of yet. James here just confirming with the energy attachments to that Lily's Clefairy EX, but this is one way we can see how James protects the board and really manipulates those damage counters, really nullifying, as Pablo once already has said, that importance of that damage counter drop from the Dragapult's Phantom Dive being so important in so many matchups. When you just turn it off, it just turns into a 200 base attack, and it's not really that strong.
Telepathic psychic energy being attached to Lily's Clefairy EX would allow extra Pokemon to come onto the bench if James so chooses. But I think he's also just assessing whether that Chien-Pao was there, and it is, and it's raring to go, but we can't get it. You can't utilize that off of a telepathic psychic energy, so he's gonna have to go a different route, and there it is.
There it is. James has shown now the Chien-Pao into the hands with that Ultra Ball, had a couple of Ultra Balls available to him in that hand there, and Justin going to be staring down at a Lily's Clefairy EX once again, being able to take a massive knockout, and also his route to victory being taken away by James's Chien-Pao here.
This is clever. I love it. Here we go. Chien-Pao uses Snow Sink and removes Area 0 Underdepth, so James can remove the damaged Pokemon from his own board. He is in full control of those damage counters now. This is a wonderful dance of prize mapping. Alex, run us through the terror that's going to put Justin in right now.
Well, right now, also removing the Chien-Pao from play means Justin still needs 2 attacks to be able to take 3 final prize cards, and it's only working with one Dracloak. Does have the energy on it, but needs to try and stop James from having all the pieces James needs to actually take a knockout on him. Something like the Pheasantipity that's kind of waiting in the wings. James has also taken the Prime Catcher from the prizes as well. So they are starting to be pieced together for James's side, but Justin's got to try and stop that as soon as possible.
I can't believe how back and forth this has been. Justin needs to make an impact on this very turn. Otherwise, it's going to spell disaster. James only have one prize card left to take, and that's going to be relatively easy unless Justin makes it difficult. Justin needs to force James to jump through some big hoops.
So we're seeing a Meowth EX now for the last-ditch catch with a boss's orders being chosen. I think this is where we have to flip the script to find that disruption card. That A-spec is so important to find here. Poképad, it's still there. It was right at the bottom. Poképad being just played. Get out of my hand is, I'm sure, what Justin's thinking right now. It's not useful. It's not going to allow me to win. We need to boss his orders a Pokemon and play that unfair stamp.
But even if an unfair stamp comes into play, James does have a little bit of a tech against it. We do see the unfair stamp join Justin's hand. James, however, does have two Pheasantipity on board. It might be enough, but first an energy removal, Crushing Hammer.
But maybe this is why Justin's going to have to try and gust up a Pokemon he doesn't necessarily knock out for the moment. I guess with Skyliner being live, there's nothing to really trap. So we have to take down this Lily's Clefairy EX.
Yeah,
well, we have to see Justin just choose the right target.
Dragapult evolved up. Justin now trying another Crushing Hammer.
Could be big.
See if it's successful. I can't quite see the drama.
Oh, double heads on the energies on that Lily's Clefairy EX. And here it comes. That unfair stamp being played now, really just completely turning the game on its head. Justin may have found a small window of opportunity by taking maybe, where was the boss's orders maybe that we wanted to see on the Pokemon that wouldn't get knocked out, wouldn't activate Pheasantipity's flip the script.
At this stage, it's all about that boss. It's in hand for Justin.
We saw
Set trying to set up a big prize turn for later. Choosing to go for the Wellspring Mask Ogerpon EX. Justin's going all in.
This is just, is this the decision where we Phantom Dive and just take the two prizes? We have the Risky Ruin being played as well. It's a knockout on the Wellspring Ogerpon, and the damage count is being placed across James's board. We have flipped the scripts live now.
Can James get energy galore on Clefairy? Oh, that was a Crispin top deck, I believe. Crispin will allow James to look through that deck, see what energy we've got remaining, and we've got it! There we go, straight into Lily's Clefairy EX for a huge win for James.
Yeah, incredible just to kind of see how that panned out. But Lily's Clefairy EX showcasing exactly why it's been haunting Dragapult EX since it's been brought into the Pokemon TCG, and James is piloting the deck super, super well, especially when you're protecting the board, dancing around those prizes that Justin's trying to prepare on future turns the way he was able to with that Chien-Pao.
James played masterfully, and honestly, so did Justin. Watching them both play to the top of their ability and make that prize race really feel like it was a back and forth tennis match.
Yeah, that's just one of the key things where we saw multiple Dragapult EXs actually getting prepped and primed and ready to attack. I think it's time we get a chance to also just re-watch exactly how that all played out in the end, because it was such an intriguing back and forth between our fantastic players.
You know who loves an intriguing back and forth? My friend Pablo.
That was really cool to see the dance of the prize map. That Lily's Clefairy's, Lily's Pearl, pardon me, was so clutch. I think that card alone won James this game, reducing that prize card count from 2 to 1 for the EX knockout. That completely changed things around, and then the very clutch Qian Pao turn, removing the liability of the Mega Kangaskhan. I don't know if there was anything Justin could have done differently. He attacked the hand, he disrupted, he flipped a lot of heads, but he just wasn't able to overcome that price deficit that James put him in with that peril. So we'll have to see if Justin is able to more aggressively play around that, perhaps.
Yeah, Lily's Pearl is a card that we haven't seen yet on our feature match, but it made such an impact. Let's jump in to this game 2. James is 1-0 up. Alex, prize cards, talk to me.
I mean, 3 of the 4 psychic energies being prized for James. Might not be too much of a problem because we do play some other energies as well. We got the extra psychic, the extra telepathic psychic energy as well. But, I mean, I don't feel like Justin's going to be complaining too much here in this scenario. Monkey Dory, it's not really that important, especially when all of your Pokemon getting knocked out in one hit. But just only able to get the 1 Dreepy on the board here before passing over to James. And now, just kind of setting up himself with that Wellspring Ogerpon EX, with a energy. Looks like we're just going to slow the game down and sob that poor Meowth that started for Justin.
Oh, if you're not going to have a great start as James, you better sob, because it traps that Meowth right in the active spot, slowing Justin's play down. Now, Justin playing Dragapult doesn't really mind this too much, I would say. He needs time to set these Dracloak and Dragapult up regardless. It's a shame Justin won't be able to slow James down in return with something like a Badoo. But for now, Justin's just going to continue to establish this board and get strength to strength, using as many Dracloak as possible. Already establishing 1. Hopefully Lilies will provide more.
Yeah, the unfortunate aspect for Justin is that he can't really set the tone of being aggressive in this matchup now because of that Meowth start. That sub block is something that's just going to constantly be used, or can constantly be used, and then that allows James to really set the pace.
Yeah, it puts James in control of this match really early on by sobbing 20 damage, but actually Meowth is unable to retreat. Here we go, crushing hammer time from James. Oh, I think it was a failure, which is such a shame because it could have really helped Justin to jump back into this match early on.
Sure, Buddy Buddy Poffin being played now. Dunsparce hitting the field. We've already spoken about how a lot of our Dragon Ball players are incorporating this additional 1-1 tech for additional draw power. Also kind of provides a semi-pivot option as well when you're using and utilizing Runaway Draw to not only see cards, but then to maneuver into the right attackers at the same time. Here comes Recon Directive. Just going to look for more pieces to set up. I think Justin really needs to stabilize. As we mentioned, he needs multiple Dragon Ball EX attackers, especially when you know Lily's Clefairy EX is not far away from your opponent's side of the board.
No, indeed, Justin is in a tricky spot no matter what, and so chooses to establish a fire energy on Meowth, eventually maybe being able to use Tuck Tail to get out of the situation of being stuck behind Wellspring Mask Ogerpon EX from James.
Yeah, James's hand's not looking too pretty, I don't think, so it is just an instant attach and then straight into a sob once again. So maybe giving Justin a chance here, but again, we're still having to stare down at a Wellspring Ogerpon EX, which can at some stage, if we find the water energy, be able to torrential pump and could take 2 small knockouts.
Now this is an interesting decision for Justin. Are both energy going on Meowth or not? They are! Looks like we're going to see Meowth EX use Tuck Tail to shuffle itself and all attached cards back into Justin's deck, circumventing that sob from Wellspring Mask Ogerpon EX entirely. Meowth being a very sneaky cat Pokemon, jumping back into the deck very soon. But first, Justin, of course, needs to continue to make his board as strong as possible, get as many Dracloak as we can, and then he will be in a much better position on his next turn.
Oh, it's ever so scary, though. If you do Tuck Tail and have to promote one of those Dracloaks, It will go into the hand.
Apologies,
allow you
yes, hand,
to-
not deck. We've had many that go back into deck, but Meowth will go back into hand.
Will allow you to use Last Ditch Catch again, because you can play it down and search your deck for a supporter card. But if it goes back into the hand, we then do have we then have a Dracloak go into the active spot. And that could be going down quite easily, like I said, to a Torrential Pump. You're then offering up almost a Pokemon to potentially get knocked out. And that's where Justin has to make that decision. If we can stop that, though, with a Crushing Hammer.
Not right
enough.
now, sadly, but another Recon Directive might be a saving grace.
Yeah, it looks like we found another Pokepad. Let's get another Dracloak out. We've got the whole family out here now.
Justin definitely being a Dragon-type master with that board right now. Of course, another Recon Directive should be advantageous, not just now, but for the rest of the game.
Just want to probably double check. Maybe Dreepy did just come down this turn, so maybe can't evolve up that final Dreepy, at least for the moment. But then this is the decision. Do we Tuck Tail now and offer up a single prize Pokemon? Or do we just allow James to sob one more time?
Yeah, that is an important decision for Justin, whether Tuck Tail is the play now. Meowth would jump back into his hand with all that energy, and he'd be able to reattach it later to his own merit.
Just having a quick discussion with the judges just to make sure, again, we're keeping as as clean on the table as possible. And I think they're just kind of making sure that they were all there and available.
Yeah, looking at all of those Dracloak, making sure they were all able to evolve and use their Recon Directive this turn as well.
I think both our players are discussing and talking it through at the moment, so we'll get confirmation exactly what's they're confirming at the moment. Otherwise, this current board state is still this kind of interesting scenario where Tuck Tail is the decision or not. Here it is. It is a Tuck Tail for 60 damage onto the Wellspring Ogerpon EX right now. Now, James, have we top decked anything useful to get out of this scenario? Because all we have is that Wellspring Ogerpon EX and... Oh, no, maybe not. I mean, it's instantly a sob with 20 damage straight onto the Dunsparce, Amy.
Yeah, just another sob from James, and a not fun position to be in. Justin will be able to get rid of that damage if he chooses and manages to find that Dunsparce. Of course, Crispin comes down again, grabbing 2 further energy out of the deck. I imagine we're going to see those go onto a Dracloak, but for now, Justin opts just the one, and it's time to do some Recon Directive to just siphon down that deck. A Crushing Hammer, it is a success.
Removing
Which of the two energy?
Well, one can't be grabbed back out of the discard pile, so targets the special energy there. Second Recon Directive finds Pokepad and a Dragapult. I think there's already a Dragapult in hand, so Pokepad's the choice for Justin here.
Pokepad played straight down, and of course, Dunsparce comes into play. Now, Justin's going to have that extra maneuverability, not only of moving this Pokemon out of the active, regardless of its sobbed status.
Third Recon Directive finds the boss's orders here as well. Could be one way to just apply a lot of pressure. Knowing your opponent's not drawing many cards can deal a lot of damage, for example, to that Latias EX.
For Recon Directive, you can't get much more consistent than that. Justin, of course, going ahead and attaching a further Psychic Energy to another Dracloak. The previous one was attached.
Oh, there we go.
And he's scooping it up. James admitting defeat, and Justin, against the odds, takes game 2.
It was a scary pass from Justin there, but more than enough to take this game 2, just because James wasn't able to really draw out of that scenario. He was hoping Sob was going to be able to give him enough time to do so, but Justin was building out a very strong board, multiple attackers, and then that pass was, like I said, all she wrote.
I would be sobbing after that scenario. It's not really what you expect with a deck that's teched up so heavily against Dragapult to be pushed into a situation where James was unable to do much and have much agency over his actions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those we're going to keep an eye on. James, I'm sure, wanting to get as much time as possible as we get a chance to have a little glimpse of exactly what went down with our resident experts. Pablo, break it down for me.
I mean, we didn't see too much happening in this match, but I love this quick scoop by James. This shows that he's confident in this matchup. He knows he's favored into Dragapult, and he wants to have enough time to win a complex and thorough against game 3 against a very tough opponent, right? Justin Newdorf has had really a breakout season after getting 2nd place at the World Championships. He's been very dominant, and he's trying to add to that accolade here. But James knows he has an advantage. Lily's Clefairy just so strong against Dragapult. So I love this scoop, and not trying to solve his way into a 1-0 victory to try to close this one out, but rather I want enough time to win and take all 6 prizes in this match.
Yeah, surely he can't draw like that once again, could he, Pablo? So let's see if we get a much better game here as we're about to head shortly into our game 3 of our Swiss round 13. Both our players in fantastic spots. Remember, James currently 11-1. The only loss was against a Crussell. And Justin currently undefeated here in this tournament at the North American International Championships.
Down in New Orleans, here we are, Justin versus James, the powerhouses themselves. They've got their prize cards down. Their active Pokemon are ready to rumble, and we're going to jump straight into the action for game 3. Who will come out on top?
Just over 15 minutes to find a victor and push themselves into a pretty strong spot. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like it was just an energy attachment to the Wellspring Ogerpon EX and then a pass over to Justin. That's not what you want to see.
It's a similar story to game 2, unfortunately. How are our prize cards looking, Alex?
Yeah, nothing too shabby on either side right now. Badu could have been quite nice to try and maybe slow the game down, but you want to prioritize setting up that board anyway. 1-1 Dreepy Dracloak line could slow things a little bit down, but we have access to 3-3, so yeah, not too bad. This just depends on what the hand is saying. Looks like an Ultra Ball's being eyed up.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that hand is at least currently saying you can have another Dreepy if you'd like, Justin. Or maybe a Badu.
Yeah, one
it's
of
going
those.
for Meowth.
What we don't want to see is, especially with James just attaching to the active Wellspring Mask Ogerpon EX, he's only a Crispin away from having Torrential Pump live. I guess obviously still wants to set up the board as well, so would we see a Crispin on the turn if we don't see another Pokemon? Well, if we're taking down just the lone Dreepy that currently is sitting on Justin's side of the board, could be super, super scary for Justin.
So what you're telling me, Alex, is that Justin needs Crushing Hammer to hit heads or lots more Dreepy, and that's one of the things Justin's gonna get as 2 Buddy Poffin enter the hand thanks to Lily's determination.
Yeah, we're at least trying to go wide. We haven't hit the Crushing Hammers, I don't think. And I saw a little shake of the head there by James, but I mean, when you have to just attach energy and pass, it's just so, so scary. But we're only going to be staring at a board of Dunsparce, Meowth EX, and 3 Dreepies on Justin's side, at least for the moment there. Just deliberating, checking what was in the hand before we shuffle up that deck. Here's a pass over. There is that Crispin we just mentioned. Water energy attachment to the active, and then another energy coming to hand as well. So that is one way to accelerate energy onto the board, but you're going to slow the game down a lot. You're going to take 2 prizes, but James would then be left with just a Wellspring Ogerpon EX with no energies attached to it if we choose to use the secondary effect with that Torrential Pump.
Ooh, Prime Catcher comes into play. James is going for gold, and Team Rocket's Watchtower just to prevent Dunsparce from doing much. James using Torrential Pump to take 2 Dreepy off the board. Justin left with 1 singular Dreepy and a Dunsparce that cannot currently do much. Oh, sorry, my bad. It was an Area 0 underdecked. I am a silly egg. There we go. Justin now moving forth with a Dracloak and an attach for turn. So we definitely aren't running any rare candy. Can't accelerate play in that way.
Yep, so James might feel a little bit safer knowing that a retaliation attack won't be coming down this turn. That's super relevant. We've already seen Badu also in the prizes, so won't have access to that either. We do have now the Dunsparce live for Justin on his board, choosing that fire, that Ultra Ball before playing Lily's Determination.
Lily's Clefairy EX now finally on the bench just to make sure that James has a little bit of power just behind him on the back lines. Justin really needs to slow things down now. Would something like a Badu even help in this situation?
Yes,
oh, it's in the prize cards. You're quite right, Alex. I forgot.
No, absolutely. But maybe he can try and look for his own pink ace spec of choice as well. Maybe really try and slow the game down with a unfair stamp. Well, that's definitely not it from those Lily Determination 8 cards for the time being. Recon Directive further 2.
One more chance. That's double Dragapult, but we can't evolve this turn.
We're ready for the next turn, I guess. We do have Night Stretcher, so can try and get the board ready for more Dreepies. So Justin now decides to play that just to kind of go back and grab that Dreepy out of the discard pile.
Dreepy is certainly what Justin's going to need, and James does sit on the board with no energy currently. Risky Ruins joins Justin's array.
And it comes down to maybe what James has been able to pull from those prizes. Of course, we're very lucky in seeing that there's a Dusk Ball being played now. Bottom 7. Finds a Meowth EX and Mega Kangaskhan, so has a choice between the two colorless Pokemon. And there is the Mega Kangaskhan. There also is the Telepathic Energy as well, allowing James to pull out those Psychic Pokemon, and more importantly so, that Latias EX.
My concern here, Alex, is I'm having a flashback to game 1. Damage counters can be really important in this matchup, right? And isn't there damage counters on quite a few Pokemon right now?
We're starting to load them up. That Latias is now within range. Run Errand does draw into a Lily's Pearl, which also was so important in that game 1, Amy. So now Lily's Clefairy EX is there, powered up, or semi-powered up, but also, you know, just protected a little bit from that Pearl.
It's just a pass across to Justin, who now has this opportunity, this window, to finally establish a Dragapult. However, without Dracloak on the board, it really limits his ability to continue this game. So it's time now for Justin to really start to make this hand a lot nicer looking than it currently is. Crushing Hammer time first.
No, looks like a Tails, otherwise there would have been a motion towards that Lily's Clefairy EX. There was an interesting choice between the boss's orders and that Crushing Hammer there for Justin, because that could have been a way to try and maybe just target down the Lily's Clefairy EX. But for the moment, prioritizing that stabilization first, as we do also get the runaway draw. So see you later, the Dunsparce, at least for now.
Dunsparce loves running right back into that deck to be used later. Justin, of course, got to draw 3 cards off the top of the deck before shuffling the Dunsparce in. Ooh, okay, a spec here. Another Buddy Poffin. Justin is, I imagine, very delighted to see that so that he can re-establish Dunsparce, although it does get hit by the Risky Ruin.
Yeah, remember, no more access to further Dreepies. One Dreepy currently being prized, the other sitting in the discard pile. One was rescued with that Night Stretcher not too long ago. Now, it's just that decision of what do we do, because we're still staring at that Lily's Clefairy EX waiting. Justin having to make that choice, playing the Crispin. This is the route he's decided to go down here.
Just eyeing up the hand before he makes a solid decision on which 2 energy types Justin is going to take from the deck right now using the effect of Crispin. One of these energy will be attached to a Pokemon due to the effect of Crispin, and the other will go into Justin's hand. Of course, straight away, he's established that Dracloak needs an extra energy, so Fire type it is. And Dracloak, I imagine, might see an evolution very soon in its future.
Yeah, the Night Stretcher, second Night Stretcher being now used by Justin for a Dracloak there on the bench. We will need that as a future attacker as well. Ooh, Crushing Hammer as a choice. If he hit heads here, we could try and slow down that Lily's Clefairy EX, maybe prevent it from attacking.
Crushing Hammer's going to have to go again because that one went off the board. The Tails really not having too much success with those Crushing Hammers is Justin attaching that second energy to a Dracloak. And it's Dragapult time, Alex.
Yep, we're firing off on all cylinders here. 200 damage to the active Mega Kangaskhan EX, really applying a lot of pressure onto that free prizer Mega Pokemon. And now it's all about these damage counters, trying to set up a massive multi-prize turn. Looks like just maybe targeting all 6 on that Lily's Clefairy that doesn't have the Pearl on it. Area 0 Underdepths come now, instantly bouncing that Risky Ruins. Energy attachment, Amy. We're looking pretty scary here.
James knows the stakes, and they are not only high, but the win is in his grasp as James goes towards looking for Serrano, gathering those extra Pokemon. Thanks to the effect of Area 0 Underdepth, he will be able to play a plethora of Pokemon, and we may even get to see a treat of that Chien-Pao once again coming down onto James's board to heal up or pseudo heal up this Mega Kangaskhan by forcing it into the discard pile.
Yeah, just gets the other Mega Kangaskhan down now as well. We do get Run Errand. 2 cards there. Moltres not useful in this matchup. We get the retreat.
Here comes Lily's Clefairy, Pearl in hand. Chien-Pao comes down, and of course, we saw it once, we're seeing it again to great effect. James pseudo healing up his Pokemon, attacking and taking a huge Dragapult knockout with Lily's Clefairy EX.
And down to 2 prizes. So just being able to remove all of the liabilities that are on the board. No allow of Justin to be able to take big prizes, big knockouts. And now it's just staring down at this Lily's Clefairy EX in the active spot. There's one waiting on the bench as well. And Justin only has the lone Dragapult EX, or Dracloak and lone Dragapult EX left.
James has done an absolutely masterful job of denying Justin prize cards at this stage.
So we'll keep following along, of course. We get the Dracloak Recon Directive here first. Are there cards that are useful enough here? Maybe that, was that a special red card? We'll have a look. Yeah, that was the choice there from the Recon Directive. We now get the Night Stretcher for the Psychic Energy, so we get the attachment going as well.
Here comes Dragapult. Only going to be able to take 1 prize card. However, Justin is going to disrupt James. James done an excellent job on his side of the board, though, of protecting himself as much as he could against this incoming unfair stamp. He knew it was coming, and Justin did indeed manage to pull it off.
Yeah, Pheasantipity waiting in the wings. If that Lily's Clefairy EX goes down, and it looks very, very likely here on this turn. So both players shuffling up, unfair stamp your opponent. Since your opponent did take a prize on your last turn, on his last turn, or his or her last turn, they draw 2, you draw 5.
Dunsparce once again running away into the deck. Although it's no coward, it just does that. Dunsparce loves to dig, and dig it does into the deck, drawing Justin 3 fresh cards.
And also 3 minutes remaining as well for 2 prizes to be taken. And also, just by having the 1 bench Pokemon, Lily's Clefairy is actually without something like the Area Zero under decks and amongst other things, that knockout there, taking one prize means it's very, very difficult to get this retaliation KO just from 3 cards, plus the flip the script.
I think we might have it. We've got Crispin. We need one more energy because James could use the Latias here. If he manages to get another energy attached via a Wondrous Patch, this could be it.
Would need the stadium as well to be able to get to the 7 Pokemon on the base. So here comes the gusting of the Meowth.
We've seen this before.
Let's slow the game down enough where I can just sub-lock you. There's not typically many switch outs, if any, in a Dragapult deck. And this just means that we can slow the game down to a point where at one stage I'll be able to eventually take this knockout. But here's a Crushing Hammer to stop that in its tracks first.
Here we are. Will it change? Oh, it might change things up quite a bit as we succeed in knocking that energy away from the clutches of Wellspring Ogerpon EX.
Yeah, there's Pokeball being played. There's not many options remaining. It's just that 1-1 line, it looks like. So Justin's going to have to keep battling on with just this Dragapult EX and that Meowth for the moment. Needs to stop that sub-lock from happening. Ultra Ball being played now as well. Again, not giving too many outs for James to be able to do too much energy attachment to the Meowth.
Justin's not got much, unfortunately, that he can do at this time other than slowly attach energy to Meowth as quickly as possible, which feels like a bit of an oxymoron, but it really is a case of needing to jump back in to the action and not allow James to have the time that he's attempting to stall for.
So here we go. What more can be done from Justin's side of the board? We've got the energy attachment, Pokeball being played now, Dunsparce being maneuvered to the hand. James is only 2 prize cards remaining away from taking this Swiss round 13. He just needs to knock out that Meowth. And is it possible?
From Justin, here we go, there's the Crispin, and it's all over as we can attach to these Pokemon. Go ahead and get ahead. Justin now just drawing into a next card, but it's not really gonna help. Meowth is really on the edge, now not being able to move once again. If there's enough energy in deck, maybe Justin can tuck tail, but I don't think there is.
Just the 1 in deck, and that's the energy attachment. And time has now been reached. We are into overtime, with time being called here. Justin will be our turn 0. And how it works is there's 3 additional turns. So James will take his first turn, turn 1. It goes back to Justin for turn 2, and James will have the final turn of this game. And if we don't have a complete winner, it does mean that we get stuck here, and it will be a tie. But James has these 2 turns to try and maybe knock out this Meowth.
Ultra Ball. Meowth.
Crispin.
Crispin, that's